The rain slammed against the hospital windows like fists pounding on a door. Inside the pediatric waiting room, Michael Carter sat uncomfortably, his tailored suit still damp from the run-in from the garage. He wasn't supposed to be here. His evening had been planned for a boardroom, not a hospital. But when his business associate's daughter had been rushed to the ER, the meeting was cancelled, and somehow Michael had ended up in this bright, sterile space filled with anxious parents and the faint echoes of children's voices down the hallway. At 35, Michael had built his software company from the ground up, turning it into a multi-million-dollar success. He was used to power lunches and luxury hotels, not plastic chairs and the sting of disinfectant in the air. His fingers tapped impatiently on his knee as he checked his phone for what felt like the 100th time. Deals could wait. Meetings could be rescheduled. Still, sitting here felt like wasted time. That was when he noticed her. A tiny figure in a hospital gown shuffled slowly down the hall, her hands sliding along the wall for balance. She couldn't have been more than 4 years old, with a head full of curls tied back by a bright yellow ribbon. Even through the feverish flush on her cheeks, her skin glowed, her presence somehow brighter than the harsh fluorescent lights above. She stopped right in front of him, studying his face with a seriousness only children seemed able to manage. "You look sad," she said simply, tilting her head. Michael blinked, caught off guard. "I'm not sad. I'm just waiting." "Waiting for what?" "For my friend. He's talking to the doctors about his little girl." She nodded like this was perfectly reasonable. Then, without hesitation, she asked, "Are you rich?" The bluntness almost made him smile. "Why do you ask?" "Your clothes look expensive. And that watch, it sparkles." She pointed at his Rolex with a tiny finger. "Rich people don't usually spend time in hospitals unless they have to." There was no judgment in her voice, just curiosity. Michael answered honestly, "Yeah, I guess I am." Her face brightened. "That's good. Rich people can help more." Before he could ask what she meant, she leaned closer, her gown whispering softly against her legs. "If you carry me up the stairs, I'll tell you a secret." Michael raised an eyebrow. "What kind of secret?" "The best kind. About love, about being sick, and about how people don't really get left alone if they know where to look." He stared at her, this little philosopher in a yellow ribbon, and felt the chaos of the hospital dim around them. "Where do you need to go?" "3rd floor. My mama works there. I want to see her, but my fever makes me dizzy. Will you help me?" She stretched out her small hand with complete trust. Every instinct told him to get a nurse. To step back, follow the rules. But there was something in her eyes, an ancient kind of wisdom wrapped in innocence, that stopped him. "What's your name?" he asked. "Sophia." "What's yours?" "Michael." "That's a strong name. So, will you help me?" "I promise the secret's worth it." Michael glanced around. His friend was still gone, probably stuck with paperwork. The rain hammered the windows harder, and for the first time in years his life, the penthouse, the meetings, the money, felt strangely hollow. "Okay," he said quietly. "I'll help you." Her face lit up like the sun. "Really? You'll accept my offer?" "Yes, Sophia. I accept." "Good. I'm not heavy, and I won't ruin your fancy clothes." She lifted her arms expectantly. Michael bent down and scooped her up, surprised by how light she felt. She wrapped her arms around his neck, her fever warm against his shoulder. "The elevator's broken," she explained matter-of-factly. "We have to use the stairs." "Stairs are better anyway, you can talk more." As they started up the stairwell, Michael caught sight of their reflection in the glass door, a wealthy man in a damp, expensive suit carrying a frail little girl in a hospital gown. By all logic, it should have looked odd, maybe even wrong. But somehow, it felt right. "Ready for your secret?" Sophia asked softly. "I thought I had to carry you the whole way up first. I changed my mind. You already helped me. I'll start now." She paused. "The first part is this: being sick isn't the worst thing that can happen to you. Michael's shoes clicked on the concrete steps. Then what is? Being lonely, whether you're sick or healthy. But here's the secret. You don't have to be lonely if you know how to find love. And how do you find love? He asked. You share it first, she said simply. Even if you don't think you have any to give. Like you're doing right now. Her words landed heavy. When had he last done something with no expectation of return? They climbed in silence until he asked, Sophia, how long have you been sick? Just today. I got a fever at school, so they called Mama. She had to leave work early, and now she won't get paid for the full day. We really need the money. Where's your dad? I don't have one. It's just me and Mama. But that's okay. We've got each other, and love grows when you share it. That's another part of the secret. Michael tightened his hold on her as they reached the last flight. She rested her head against him, hot with fever, yet radiating something deeper, something that warmed him from the inside. Almost there, he said. Thank you, Sophia whispered. Most people would have told me to wait for a nurse. But you helped. That's how love works. It helps everyone. And in that moment, Michael realized the climb wasn't changing her, it was changing him. The harsh lights felt softer, the sterile halls less cold. The child in his arms was the most real thing he had touched in years. Ready to meet my mama? Sophia asked. For once, Michael said. I really am. And who's your friend? The nurse asked kindly. This is Michael, Sophia announced without hesitation. He carried me upstairs to see Mama, and now I'm teaching him about love and secrets. She said it as though it was the most normal thing in the world. Jennifer, the nurse, gave Michael a thoughtful look, the kind that comes from years of working with kids and their families. Whatever she read in his face seemed to satisfy her, because her expression softened. That was very kind of you, she said warmly. Sophia's been worried about her mama all night. Has she been a patient here long? Michael shook his head. No, she told me she just got sick today. Jennifer smiled gently. Oh, Sophia isn't a patient. Her mama brings her here when school's out or when she's not feeling well enough for a sitter. Isabella's one of the hardest working women in this place. She never misses a shift, and she takes pride in what she does. We don't mind having Sophia around when she needs to be here. The words struck Michael like a weight. Isabella works so hard, so faithfully, that even on nights when her daughter was sick, she still showed up. He thought of the pressure that must come with that kind of responsibility. Miss Jennifer, Sophia piped up, do you want to hear about my secret too? The nurse tilted her head, smiling. And what secret is that, honey? How love grows when you share it, and how being sick isn't the worst thing that can happen. Jennifer's eyes softened further. You know what? You're absolutely right. I see that every day. Families taking care of each other. Strangers helping strangers. Love makes people strong, even when their bodies are weak. Sophia beamed. See, Michael? Miss Jennifer knows the secret too. Lots of people do, but sometimes they forget. That's why we have to remind each other. Jennifer checked her watch with a little sigh. I'd better finish my rounds. Sophia, you get some rest, okay? And sir. She turned to Michael with a smile. Thank you for being so kind to one of our special girls. When the nurse left, the room grew quieter. Sophia looked at Michael with those serious eyes again. Can I tell you something that might make you sad? What is it? He asked gently. Sometimes, she said softly, I wish I had a daddy. Not because Mama isn't enough, she's the best mama in the whole world. But sometimes I see kids with their daddies, and they get carried on shoulders, or taught things only daddies teach, or hugged in a different way. And I think it must be nice to have both. Her voice was wistful, not bitter. But then I remember, love comes in all kinds of shapes. And maybe the universe sends people when you need them most. Michael felt something squeeze tight in his chest. Is that what you think happened today? The universe sent someone to help? Maybe, Sophia said, a little smile tugging her lips. Or maybe you needed help, too, and the universe sent me to you. That's the best part of the secret. Love helps everyone at the same time. For a while they just sat together, watching Isabella through the glass door. She worked with quiet care, extra gentle when she cleaned around a sleeping child's room, offering small smiles to parents who looked worn and worried. Even in her tired movements, Michael could see love woven into everything she did. Michael? Sophia asked softly. Yes? Do you have a family? Like a wife or kids? He shook his head. No, I don't. Are you lonely? She asked with such innocence that he found himself answering honestly. Sometimes. Most of the time, actually. Sophia studied him, then pulled her blanket tighter. I thought so. You have the same look Mama gets when she thinks I'm not watching, like you're missing something important. But the good news is, loneliness is fixable. Not like some sicknesses. And how do you fix loneliness? Michael asked. You start sharing love. Even little pieces, like helping a girl get upstairs to see her mama. And then love grows, and before you know it, you're not lonely anymore, because you're connected. Her yawn interrupted her wisdom, the fever and late hour finally catching up with her. Still, she fought to finish her lesson. That's the most important part of the secret. She mumbled sleepily. Michael watched this extraordinary child slowly drift into sleep, amazed at her determination to share something so pure. In his world, people formed connections for gain, for deals, for networking, for advantage. Yet here was a 4-year-old, giving away truth freely, simply because it mattered to her. Can I ask you something, Sophia? He said softly. Her eyes fluttered open just enough to meet his. What? Why me? Why did you decide to share your secret with me? Because, she whispered, you had sad eyes but a good face. And when I asked for help, you said yes without asking for anything back. That's how I knew you had love inside you, you just forgot how to use it. And with that, she finally surrendered to sleep. Michael sat quietly, letting her words sink deep. Through the glass, Isabella continued her work, double-checking every room, making sure the children and their families would wake to a clean, safe space. For the first time in years, Michael felt like he was exactly where he was meant to be. A little while later, Isabella appeared in the doorway, moving quietly so as not to disturb her daughter. Sophia slept peacefully in the big chair, her fever gone, her face soft and calm. I'm done with my shift, Isabella whispered. Thank you for staying with her. I hope she didn't talk your ear off. Michael stood, smiling. Actually, she was teaching me. About love, and secrets, and noticing things. Isabella's tired smile was touched with pride. She's always been wise beyond her years. Sometimes I think she's the one taking care of me. She brushed her daughter's curls back and felt her forehead with relief. The fever's gone. Sophia stirred, blinking up at them. Did I finish telling you the secret? I think so, Michael said. You told me about love growing when you share it, about noticing things, and about fixing loneliness. Oh, good, she said drowsily. Then her eyes popped open. Wait, there's still one more part. The part about accepting help. Isabella began packing their things, gently chiding. Honey, I think Michael's helped us plenty for one night. But Mama, Sophia insisted, this is the most important part. You have to let him help more. That's how love grows. Right, Michael? You want to help more, don't you? Michael felt something inside him settle, like he'd been waiting years for this certainty. Yes, he said quietly. I do want to help more. Isabella shook her head quickly. You've already been so generous. We don't take charity, we take care of ourselves. It's not charity, Sophia said firmly, her little voice stronger than either adults. It's love growing. There's a difference. Isabella started to object, but Sophia pressed on. When someone offers to help and you say no, you stop love from growing. But when you say yes with gratitude, love gets bigger for everyone. That's the part most grown-ups miss. Michael met Isabella's conflicted eyes. What if helping you helps me too? he asked gently. What if Sophia's right, that this is about love growing for everyone? Her lips parted in quiet surprise. And how could helping us possibly help you? Before Michael could answer, Sophia whispered, Because he's lonely, Mama. And lonely people need families, even if they're not regular families. Especially if they're not regular families. Goodness, Sophia Johnson, Isabella said with a half smile. You can't just invite strangers into our family. Why not? Sophia shot back. If they're good people who need love and have love to give back. Don't you, Michael? I think I do, he admitted, his throat tight. I just forgot how. Isabella studied him for a long moment, then her expression softened. What exactly are you offering? I'm not sure yet, he said honestly. Whatever would help. Whatever you need. Maybe we could start with dinner tomorrow, after Sophia's completely better. Sophia bounced, suddenly wide awake again. Please, Mama? Can we? I want to teach him more about the secret. And show him my drawings. And I want him to meet Mrs. Rodriguez from next door. One look at her daughter's eager face, then at Michael's earnest expression, and Isabella sighed softly. One dinner. To say thank you for tonight. Sophia clapped her hands, careful not to wake anyone else. See? This is how love grows. First you carry someone upstairs. Then you learn about secrets. Then you have dinner together. As they left the hospital, Michael realized that his entire life had shifted in one evening. He had walked in as a man defined by wealth and business. He was leaving as someone who'd been invited into a family, someone who finally had a purpose beyond contracts and profits. Michael, Sophia said sleepily as Isabella carried her toward the exit. Thank you for saying yes to the secret. Thank you for teaching me, he replied softly. I think I needed it more than I knew. You're not too busy or too scared anymore, are you? Michael smiled. No, Sophia. I'm not too busy or too scared anymore. As the glass doors slid open, the storm outside was breaking. Beyond the wet pavement, dawn was just beginning to touch the sky. For the first time in years, Michael felt grateful for a new day. The following evening, he found himself standing in front of a modest apartment building in a quiet neighborhood, a bag of groceries in his arms and nerves in his stomach worse than before any investor meeting. He'd thought about Sophia's words all day. About how love grows when shared. About how a lonely man could maybe belong again. The building was small but alive, potted plants on balconies, children's bikes chained to the railing, music and voices floating from open windows. It felt like home, even though it wasn't his. Sophia met him at the door, bright and healthy again, dressed in a sunny yellow dress with her curls tied into two rainbow ribbon ponytails. Michael! You came! She squealed. I told Mama you would. She grabbed his free hand and tugged him toward the stairs. Come on, we live on the second floor, and I have so many things to show you. Let the man breathe, Sophia. Isabella called down from the landing, though her voice carried a laugh this time. Inside their apartment, Michael found a space small but overflowing with warmth. The living room doubled as Sophia's play area, filled with books and art supplies neatly sorted into bins. Bright drawings covered the walls, rainbows, flowers, stick families holding hands beneath smiling suns. I brought groceries, Michael said, holding out the bag. I wasn't sure what you might need. Isabella peeked inside and froze. It was filled with fresh fruit, vegetables, good bread, milk, the kind of things most families took for granted but which clearly meant more here. It was enough food to feed them for weeks. This is too much, she began, but Sophia quickly interrupted. Mama! Remember the secret about accepting help with gratitude? You're supposed to say, thank you, Michael, this is very thoughtful. And then love grows. Isabella pressed her lips together, then looked at her daughter and back at Michael. Finally, she nodded. Thank you, Michael. This really is thoughtful. Sophia clapped her hands. See? I can feel the love getting bigger already. As Isabella began unpacking the groceries, Michael noticed how carefully she handled each item, almost reverently. When she reached the strawberries, she smiled in surprise. Sophia loves strawberries. They're usually too expensive for us. Can I have one now, Mama? Sophia begged, eyes wide. After dinner, baby. But yes, strawberries for dessert. Sophia twirled happily, then grabbed Michael's hand. Come see my room. I want to show you my drawings and books and my special box. Her bedroom was tiny but magical. Lavender walls, curtains Isabella had sewn herself with butterflies dancing across the fabric, and a little bed with a patchwork quilt. A desk with neatly arranged crayons and markers. Mama painted the walls this color, Sophia said proudly. I told her it reminded me of flowers in the morning. Michael stepped closer to the wall covered in drawings, realizing that this family had given him something no boardroom ever had, an invitation into their world of love, creativity, and simple truth. Sophia's drawings were the kind of art you'd expect from a 4-year-old. Bright colors, bold shapes, a little messy but bursting with life. Most of them showed 2 figures, a tall one with dark hair and a smaller one with curly hair. They were always smiling, always holding hands. This one is you and your mama, Michael said, pointing to a cheerful picture taped proudly to the wall. Yes, Sophia agreed. But look at this one. She tugged down a newer drawing. 3 figures now. That's you carrying me up the stairs. See? I gave you kind eyes. Michael stared at it longer than he expected to. He didn't look wealthy or important in her drawing, he just looked happy. Something in his chest tightened. I love it, he said softly. You can keep it, Sophia announced, pulling it free with ceremony. Mama says art is meant to be shared. And this way you'll remember that love grows when you share it. He accepted the paper as if it were priceless. I'll treasure it, Sophia. Thank you. From the kitchen came the sound of onions sizzling in a pan, dishes clattering, and Isabella's soft humming. The smell of real home cooking filled the small apartment, wrapping Michael in a warmth he hadn't felt since childhood. Want to see my special box? Sophia asked. She crawled under her bed and pulled out a small wooden jewelry box. Inside were her treasures, a smooth stone from a park, a pressed flower, a letter from her grandmother, a few coins, and the rainbow sticker she'd carry from the hospital. These are things that remind me of good days, she explained. Mama says everyone should keep reminders of happiness for when they feel sad. Michael nodded. That's very wise. She's the wisest person I know, Sophia said proudly, closing the box with care. She teaches me something new every day. What about your house, Michael? What's it like? Different from this. Bigger but not as warm. Do you have pictures on the walls? He thought about his penthouse. Its decorator chose an art that meant nothing to him. Not like yours. That's sad, Sophia said firmly. Pictures make a place feel like home. Maybe I could draw you some more. I'd love that. Dinner, Isabella called from the kitchen. The small table was set with mismatched plates and glasses, but everything sparkled. She had made chicken with rice and vegetables, simple food yet filled with care. Mama, can Michael sit next to me? Sophia asked eagerly. Of course, sweetheart. As they ate, Sophia chattered about her day at school, her friends, and her weekend plans. Isabella listened with the patience only a devoted parent could have, asking questions, gently guiding her daughter. Tell Michael about Mrs. Rodriguez, Sophia said between bites. Our neighbor, Isabella explained. She helps with Sophia when I need extra hours. She's been like a grandmother to us. She makes the best cookies in the world, Sophia added. And she speaks Spanish and English. She's teaching me words in both. Without waiting, she began counting to 10 in Spanish, her little voice proud and precise. That's wonderful, Michael said. I only speak English. That's okay. I can teach you, Sophia declared. The first word you need is familia. It means family. Isabella blushed slightly. Sophia, not everyone wants to learn Spanish. Yes, he does, Sophia insisted. Because learning someone's language is another way of sharing love. Michael looked at the little girl, amazed by her ability to see lessons everywhere. Yes. I'd like that very much. Sophia grinned. See, Mama? Love is growing again. After dinner, Isabella washed dishes while Sophia colored. Michael found himself watching the rhythm of their evening, simple, ordinary, but rich with meaning. He thought about his usual nights of take-out containers and glowing screens. This was what mattered. Michael? Sophia asked, glancing up from her coloring book. Yes? Are you learning the secret? He smiled. I think so. You're an excellent teacher. Good, because tomorrow I want to show you the park where Mama and I go on Sundays. Maybe we can feed the ducks. Do you like ducks? I've never fed ducks before, he admitted. Sophia gasped in shock. Never? Oh, we have to fix that. You can't understand the whole secret until you feed ducks. Sweetheart, Isabella said, emerging with a dish towel. You can't just plan Michael's whole weekend for him. He might have other things to do. But Michael realized he couldn't think of a single thing more important. Actually, he said, I don't have any plans. I'd love to see the park. Sophia squealed and hugged him tightly. This is the best secret sharing ever. When it came time for him to leave, Michael felt reluctant. The apartment felt alive, full of laughter and warmth, everything his home lacked. At the door, he thanked Isabella. For dinner. For letting me be part of this evening. Thank you for the groceries. And for being so kind to Sophia. Isabella said sincerely. She's really taken to you. I've taken to her too. Michael admitted. And to both of you. Sophia appeared in pajamas, rubbing her eyes. Don't forget about the ducks tomorrow. She reminded him. I won't forget. And don't forget that love grows when you share it. I won't forget that either. Driving home through the quiet streets, Michael carried the warmth of their small apartment with him, the smell of dinner, the sound of a child's laughter, and a certainty that something in his life was changing. The next morning, the park was alive with Sunday bustle. Families picnicked under shady trees, children raced on playgrounds, and sunlight sparkled across the pond. Michael spotted Isabella and Sophia on a bench near the water. Sophia was already tearing bread into small pieces, her curls bouncing with excitement. Michael! You came! She shouted, running to him with a bag of breadcrumbs. The ducks are waiting. I think they know it's Sunday. Isabella stood, smoothing her sundress. Even dressed casually, she carried quiet dignity. Good morning. I hope you don't mind we started without you. Someone was too excited to wait. I don't mind at all. Thank you for inviting me. Together they walked to the water's edge. Sophia became the teacher again, explaining duck feeding rules with seriousness. Throw the bread gently, don't throw too far, make sure the little ducks get their share. Michael followed carefully, feeling joy in the simplicity of it. The ripple of water, the laughter of children, the way Sophia clapped when a duckling caught a crumb, all of it felt like a piece of life he had been missing. Mama, tell Michael about when we first came here, Sophia said, sitting cross-legged in the grass. When Sophia was 2, she had a rough phase, Isabella explained. Tantrums, sleepless nights, constant exhaustion. I felt like I was failing. One day, overwhelmed, I brought her here, hoping the fresh air might help. And what happened? Michael asked, settling beside them. She saw the ducks and calmed instantly. She stood here for an hour, just watching. It was the first peace we'd had in weeks. Isabella smiled softly at the memory. So we started coming every Sunday. It's our special time, Sophia added. Now you're here, so it's even more special. They spent the morning wandering the park, feeding ducks, climbing monkey bars, pushing swings. Michael found himself laughing like a boy again, rediscovering the joy of simply being present. Later, while Sophia played nearby, Isabella turned serious. Can I ask something personal? Of course. What made you help us that night? Most people would have just found a nurse and walked away. Michael thought carefully. Honestly, it was Sophia's eyes. She looked at me like she could see something I'd forgotten about myself. And when she asked for help, it felt real. Like the first genuine thing anyone had asked me in years. Isabella nodded slowly. She has a gift for that. But I have to ask, what do you want from us? Men with your kind of money don't usually spend weekends at the park with single mothers and their kids. Not unless they want something. Her words weren't accusatory, just protective. Michael met her eyes. I want to be part of something real. I have wealth, cars, restaurants, all of it. But I don't have what you have. I don't have family. I don't have love that grows when shared. You could find a wife, have children of your own. Isabella said gently. I've tried. But those relationships were built on what I could provide, not who I am. The women I dated wanted my bank account, not my heart. He nodded toward Sophia, who was helping another child on the slide. Your daughter sees something in me I forgot existed. She makes me want to be better. Isabella studied him for a long moment. Being part of our family isn't like business. We don't have much to give back. You have everything, Michael said earnestly. Love, wisdom, purpose. You have a daughter who teaches truth while feeding ducks. You have warmth and meaning. I'm the one with nothing real to offer. That's not true, Sophia said suddenly, appearing with grass stains and a grin. You have kindness. Strong arms for carrying little girls. And you're really good at feeding ducks now. How much did you hear? Isabella asked with a laugh. Enough to know you're both being silly. Michael wants to be part of our family, and we want him to. So the only question is, when do we make it official? Sophia plopped between them. Also, I'm hungry. And I think ice cream before lunch is perfect today. Isabella raised an eyebrow. Ice cream before lunch? What kind of mother do you think I am? The best kind, Sophia declared. The kind who knows special days deserve ice cream first. She looked up at Michael. Right. This is a special day? Looking at them, this remarkable mother and daughter who had pulled him into their world, Michael felt his chest swell. Yes. This is definitely a special day. Sophia grabbed both their hands as they walked toward the vendor. And for the first time in his adult life, Michael felt truly wealthy, not because of money, but because of the love beside him. Michael, Sophia said, eyes wise beyond her years. Are you starting to understand true wealth? I think I'm beginning to, he admitted. Good. Because real wealth isn't money. It's people who love you no matter what. And people you love back. Standing in line among families, laughter echoing, Sophia insisted on sharing her strawberry ice cream. Sharing makes everything taste better, she said. And Michael knew she was right. But Monday morning brought a test. Isabella's voice cracked when she called him early. Michael, I'm sorry to bother you, but Sophia woke up with stomach pain. The school nurse says she should see a doctor. The problem is, I can't miss another shift after Friday. And I can't afford the doctor visit. You're not a failure, Michael said quickly, already reaching for his keys. You're an incredible mother in a tough situation. I'll come over, we'll take her together. I can't ask that of you. You're not asking. I'm offering. And Sophia taught me that when someone offers help, you accept so love can grow. There was a pause, then a shaky laugh. She really did teach you well. When Michael arrived, Sophia was curled on the couch, pale but brave. My tummy hurts, but I'm being strong like Mama taught me, she whispered. He knelt beside her. I know you are. Let's get you checked out. May I carry you to the car? Yes, please. Be gentle. Everything feels wobbly. At the clinic, Isabella wrestled with insurance forms, her hands trembling as she calculated co-pays. When the receptionist mentioned additional costs, her face paled. Excuse me, Michael said quietly. I'll be covering all of Miss Johnson's expenses today. Sir, you don't need. Isabella began. I want to, Michael said firmly. Please let me. Inside the exam room, Dr. Patricia Kim was gentle and thorough. Does it hurt when I press here? A little. It's like my tummy's confused. Sophia explained seriously. Dr. Kim smiled. That's actually a very good description. I think it's just a mild stomach bug. She'll be fine with rest and care. Relief washed over Isabella's face, until Dr. Kim added, she'll need to stay home for a day or two. No school or daycare until she's fever-free for 24 hours. The conflict was clear on Isabella's face. Time off meant lost wages they couldn't spare. I'll stay with her, Michael offered immediately. Michael, you have your own work. My work can wait. Sophia is more important. Really? You'd do that? Isabella asked, stunned. Sophia perked up, her eyes hopeful. You take care of me while I'm sick? Michael smiled. Yes, sweetheart. I'd be honored. Of course I would, Michael told Sophia gently. That's what family does. Dr. Kim, who had been watching quietly, smiled. Sophia, you're very lucky to have so many people who love you. I know, Sophia replied seriously. Love grows when you share it. That's my secret. Back at the apartment, Michael found himself in completely unfamiliar territory. He had never cared for a sick child before, but Isabella patiently walked him through the basics before reluctantly heading off to work. Her medicine is in the kitchen with the schedule written out, she explained. She needs to drink lots of fluids, and she likes ginger ale when her stomach's upset. If her fever spikes or anything seems worse, call me immediately. I will. Don't worry about anything except your job, Michael assured her. When Isabella left, Sophia curled up on the couch with her favorite blanket and looked at him expectantly. So, Michael asked, settling into the chair beside her, what do we do all day when someone's sick? Well, Sophia began with authority. First we read stories. Then we drink tea with honey. Then we watch movies that make us feel better. And most important, we talk about deep things, because being sick makes you think. What kind of deep things? Michael asked with a smile. Like how taking care of someone sick is one of the purest ways to show love, she explained. And how letting someone take care of you is a gift you give them. Michael leaned back. Is that another part of your secret? Uh-huh. Sophia pulled her blanket tighter around her chin. Lots of people think being taken care of makes them weak. But really, it makes love stronger for everyone. You're learning that right now. How am I learning that? Because you chose to be here instead of at your office making money. You chose love over profit. That's a big step. The day unfolded with surprising ease. Michael followed the medicine schedule, brought her ginger ale and crackers, and read her favorite books in funny voices until she giggled through her fever. He held cool washcloths to her forehead when the heat returned, and when she grew restless, he even sang her a lullaby, off-key, but sincere. During one of her naps, he wandered the apartment and noticed the family photos on Isabella's dresser. Sophia as a baby, Sophia's first steps, birthdays celebrated with homemade decorations. They didn't have much, but every picture radiated joy and love. When Sophia woke, she saw him studying a photo. That's my first birthday, she said, pointing to her cake-smeared face. Mama baked that cake, and Mrs. Rodriguez sang happy birthday in Spanish. You look very happy, Michael said. I was. We didn't have money for presents, but Mama gave me the best gift. What was that? She said every birthday is a celebration of how much love has grown since the day I was born. She told me I made her heart bigger just by existing. Michael felt warmth spread through his chest. Your mama is very wise. She is. And so are you. Well, you're learning. Sophia sat up carefully. Can I tell you something surprising? Please. Taking care of me today is changing you. I can see it. You look softer. Happier. Like you're remembering who you really are under all that business stuff. Michael blinked, realizing she was right. The tension he always carried in his shoulders was gone. The endless hum of stock prices and board meetings had quieted. For the first time in years, he felt fully present. "How do you see all that?" he asked. "You're only 4. Being 4 doesn't mean being stupid," Sophia said firmly. "It just means seeing things simply." She patted the couch. "Come sit closer. I want to tell you the most important part of the secret." Michael sat beside her. "The most important part," Sophia said solemnly, "is that love isn't something you earn or buy or deserve. It's something you choose to give and to receive. You gave it when you carried me upstairs. You received it when you came to dinner. And today you're choosing both. That changes everything. Because once you know how to choose love, you can't be truly lonely anymore. Even if you're alone, you carry all the love you've shared inside you." Michael sat speechless, absorbing her wisdom. By late afternoon, Sophia's fever had broken. Her cheeks were rosier, her appetite returned, and she was soon coloring pictures at the table. When Isabella came home, exhaustion on her face, she immediately checked her daughter's forehead. "How was she?" "She was perfect," Michael said warmly. "Her fever broke around 2, and she's been getting stronger ever since." Sophia looked up proudly. "Mama, Michael read me stories, made me special tea, and even sang me a lullaby when I felt bad." "You sang?" Isabella asked, her eyebrow raised. "Badly," Michael admitted. "Because it came from his heart," Sophia said simply. "That's what made it perfect." That evening, over a simple meal, Michael realized how much his life had shifted. His luxurious apartment felt less like home than this small, lived-in space. His bank account felt meaningless compared to the trust these two had placed in him. "Thank you," Isabella said quietly as they washed dishes together. "For today. For the doctor. For everything. I don't know how to repay you." "You don't repay love," Sophia called from the living room. "You just keep sharing it." Michael met Isabella's eyes, and in them he saw the same wonder and gratitude he felt. "She's right," he said. "You don't repay love. You just keep sharing it." In the weeks that followed, Michael's life rearranged itself. Quick visits became long dinners. Phone calls turned into daily habits. Weekends became adventures. His sterile routine was slowly replaced by laughter, routine, and belonging. He learned Isabella's reality: 3 jobs, endless exhaustion, and unshakable devotion to her daughter. "I want Sophia to have opportunities one never had," she confided one evening as they walked after dinner. "College. Travel. Freedom from choosing between rent and medicine. She'll have all of it," Michael promised. "I'll help make sure she does." Isabella stopped, frowning. "Michael, we've known you 3 weeks. You can't just change our whole future." "Why not?" "Sophia taught me that love grows when you share it. This is me sharing. It's too much, setting up a college fund, paying for things. Too fast." Just then, Sophia ran up, beaming, a jar of fireflies glowing in her hands. "Look, 7. And I let them go. Mama says beautiful things are meant to be free." "That's right, baby," Isabella said softly. "Are you two talking about serious grown-up stuff?" Sophia asked, noticing their faces. "Yes, sweetheart," Isabella replied carefully. "About how much families should help each other." "That's easy," Sophia said, exasperated. "Family helps as much as they can, whenever they can. That's what makes them family. Why do grown-ups always make simple things complicated?" That night, after Sophia was asleep, Isabella and Michael sat on her tiny balcony, sipping tea under the glow of the city. "Can I tell you about Sophia's father?" she asked suddenly. "Only if you want to. He was charming, handsome, full of dreams. When I got pregnant, he promised we'd be a family. But by the time Sophia was 6 months old, he left. Said fatherhood was harder than he thought." "I'm sorry," Michael said quietly. "I'm not," Isabella replied firmly. "If he'd stayed, Sophia might have learned that love is conditional. Instead, she's learned that real love shows up, even when it's hard. Like you've shown up for her. Not because you had to, Because you wanted to. She looked at him through the soft light. That's the kind of love that lasts. I want it to last, Michael admitted. This feeling of being part of something real. I've never had that. What was your childhood like? Isabella asked gently. Michael hesitated. Lonely. My parents were wealthy but distant. I had everything money could buy, but no attention or affection. I learned early that success meant acquisitions, not relationships. That explains why you connect so strongly with Sophia, Isabella said. She's giving you the unconditional love you missed. And you're giving her the security and opportunities she needs. Maybe that's what families do. Everyone gives what they can, everyone gets what they need. Michael nodded. Maybe it is. The next day, their bond faced its first real test. Michael was in the middle of a board meeting when Isabella's number flashed on his phone. He almost ignored it, but something in him knew better. Isabella? I'm so sorry to interrupt, she said, her voice tight. There's been an emergency at Sophia's school. His blood went cold. What kind of emergency? She fell on the playground. Hit her head. They think she may have a concussion. They're taking her to the hospital, but a parent or guardian has to be there. I'm on my way. You don't have to. I'm on my way. Which hospital? 20 minutes later, Michael rushed through the ER doors. Isabella was already there, eyes wide with fear. Sophia lay on a bed with a small bandage on her forehead, awake but subdued. Michael! She perked up when she saw him. You came. I told the nurse you would. Because that's what family does. He took her tiny hand in his, relief flooding him. Are you okay, sweetheart? My head hurts, but the doctor says my brain is working. I can still remember important things. Like how love grows when you share it. Dr. Kim appeared from behind the curtain, smiling gently. Good news, her CT scan is clear. It's a mild concussion. She'll need rest and no rough play, but she'll recover fully. Isabella sagged in relief, and Michael instinctively wrapped his arm around her shoulders. One thing, Dr. Kim added gently. Sophia's been telling everyone Michael is her daddy. I just want to make sure I have the right contact information. Michael and Isabella exchanged a startled glance. He's not her biological father, Isabella explained carefully. But he is family, Sophia said firmly. Very important family. The kind that shows up. Dr. Kim nodded. I see this all the time. Families that choose each other. What matters is that Sophia feels safe and loved. Back at the apartment, Sophia was settled on the couch with her blanket and instructions to rest. Isabella pulled Michael aside, her voice low. She's been telling people at school you're her dad. How do you feel about that? Michael exhaled slowly. Terrified. Hopeful. Confused. And what if she gets too attached? Isabella asked, running her hands through her hair. What if you decide this isn't what you want? What if I get too attached and you decide this isn't what you want? Isabella whispered. Michael countered softly. What if I'm already attached, and this is exactly what I want? From the couch, Sophia's voice drifted through, drowsy from her medicine but still clear. Love isn't scary when it's real. Real love doesn't go away just because things get complicated. The two adults looked at each other and, despite the stress of the day, started to laugh. She's been eavesdropping again, Isabella said with a shake of her head. And she's right again, Michael replied. That evening, Sophia slept stretched across the couch, one small hand curled trustingly around his while Isabella stroked her daughter's hair. They watched a gentle movie in the background, but Michael barely noticed. Somewhere in the last few weeks, his life had transformed into everything he had always been searching for. He just hadn't known it. Not empty success, not boardroom victories. This, family, love, belonging, was what had been missing. When Sophia stirred and blinked up at him sleepily, she smiled. Michael, do you know the very best part of the secret? What's that, sweetheart? The best part is that once you find your real family, everything else finally makes sense. Michael looked at Isabella, her eyes tender as she brushed Sophia's hair back. He squeezed Sophia's little hand and felt the truth of it deep in his chest. Everything did finally make sense. A month after Sophia's accident, Michael made a choice that would have seemed impossible just 2 months before. He restructured his company, handing off day-to-day operations to his most trusted managers. "You sure about this?" his business partner asked. "You've worked 12-hour days for 15 years. I've never seen you take a real vacation." "I've never had a reason to before," Michael said simply, thinking of how Sophia's face lit up each morning when he walked her to school. It wasn't easy. Isabella wrestled with her pride, unsure about letting him shoulder so much. But Sophia, with her 4-year-old wisdom, always brought them back to what mattered. "Mama," she said one evening while coloring at her little table, "why do you think love came into our lives?" "What do you mean, baby?" "I mean, do you think the universe sent Michael to carry me upstairs that night just for fun? Or do you think maybe we were meant to help each other?" Isabella sat beside her. "And what do you think? I think Michael was lonely and we had love to share. And we needed someone strong and kind, and he had that to give. So the universe made us a family." She held up a drawing of 3 figures under a rainbow. "See? Perfect fit." Their bond was tested again when Sophia was hospitalized with pneumonia. Isabella blamed herself. "I should have seen the signs earlier. Some mother I am." Michael took her hands. "You're an amazing mother. Sometimes kids get sick, no matter what. And listen, this isn't your burden alone anymore. It's ours. We'll handle it together." In Sophia's room, surrounded by flowers, cards, and the steady presence of both adults by her side, she smiled weakly. "Being sick isn't fun, but it shows you how much people love you. Look around me, Mama in that chair, Michael in the corner, Mrs. Rodriguez's flowers, my classmates' cards. I'm surrounded by love. That's better than any medicine." "Is that another part of your secret?" Michael asked gently. "Uh-huh," Sophia said. "Love is the best healing medicine there is. It doesn't fix everything, but it makes everything bearable." When Sophia came home after a week, the neighbors had decorated the apartment, stocked the fridge, and filled the space with warmth. She beamed from the couch. "See? Love really is everywhere if you know how to look for it." Later, as Isabella admitted through tears how terrified she'd been, Michael held her close. "I never knew you could love someone so much their pain becomes your pain. That's parenthood," Isabella whispered. "Your heart walking around outside your body." Michael looked at her, realization dawning. "So, does that mean I'm a parent now?" Isabella met his eyes. "Yes. That's exactly what you are." The next morning, Sophia sat at the kitchen table sipping juice while Michael hummed over breakfast. "You look happy," she observed. "I am. You're better. Mama's rested. And we're all together. That's the final part of the secret," Sophia declared with solemnity. "Healing happens in families. Not just bodies, but hearts. You were broken when I met you, lonely and sad. Mama was tired and scared. And I was sick. But now, you're not lonely anymore, Mama's not scared anymore, and I'm not sick anymore. We healed each other. That's the most important secret of all. Love heals everything it touches." Isabella walked in, kissed her daughter's head, and touched Michael's shoulder. "Good morning, my favorite people. Mama, I just told Michael the final part of the secret," Sophia announced. "And what did he say?" Michael smiled at the child and the woman who had saved his life. "I said thank you. Thank you for letting me be part of this family. Thank you for healing my heart." "You're welcome," Sophia said seriously. "But don't forget, the secret only works if you keep sharing it with other people too." 6 months later, Michael stood in the same hospital hallway where this journey had begun, but now for something entirely different, Sophia's adoption hearing. She wore her best dress and carried letters she'd written to the judge. "Are you nervous?" she asked. "A little. Are you?" "Nope. I already know how this story ends." Isabella joined them, her face glowing with relief. The paperwork, the checks, the home visits, all had led to this moment. In the courtroom, Judge Maria Santos looked over the case. Sophia, do you understand what adoption means? Yes, ma'am. It means Michael becomes my daddy officially, not just in our hearts. It means he promises to love me forever, even when I'm sick or make mistakes. And do you want that? More than anything. He already carries me upstairs and knows all my secrets about love. Plus, I taught him everything important, so he's ready. Judge Santos smiled. And Michael, do you understand the commitment? I do. I'm promising to love Sophia unconditionally for the rest of my life, to put her needs first, to support her dreams, to be the father she deserves. Isabella? Your Honor, Michael has already proven himself. He's patient, devoted, and he's made our family complete. The judge stamped the papers. Then it's official. Congratulations. The room erupted in cheers. Neighbors, teachers, even Mrs. Rodriguez with tears in her eyes. Sophia leapt into Michael's arms. Now you're my daddy forever and ever. I already was. Michael whispered back. This just makes it official. That night, during the celebration in their community room, Sophia stood on a chair to make an announcement. Today's special because my daddy became my daddy officially. But I want everyone to remember the secret. Love grows when you share it. When you help someone, when you accept help, when you're kind even when it's hard, that's how love gets bigger. She pointed to her parents. My mama and daddy found each other because they both knew how to share love. That's why we have the best family in the world, not because we have money or stuff, but because we choose love every single day. The room was silent, moved by the truth from a 6-year-old. Then the applause and hugs began, love filling the space. Later that night, on the balcony under the stars, Isabella asked, Do you ever think about what would have happened if you hadn't helped her that night? Sometimes. But then I remember what Sophia taught me. The universe sends people when they're needed. If not that night, it would have been another. We were meant to find each other. She really did change everything, Isabella whispered. She saved my life, Michael said simply. I just didn't know I needed saving. From inside, a small voice called. Mama? Daddy? Can I sit with you a minute? Sophia climbed between them, sleepy but smiling. Thank you, she whispered. For what, sweetheart? Isabella asked. For proving my secret really works. For showing me that when you share love, everyone gets more of it. And for giving me the most perfect family in the universe. The three of them sat together under the night sky, Sophia's words wrapping around them like a prayer. Love truly did grow when you shared it. And they were living proof that sometimes the greatest transformations begin with the simplest act of kindness.